I welcome to all the students for this power electronics course. So today's presentation agenda: introduction, power semiconductor devices, power electronics converters, advantages and disadvantages of power electronics, and applications of power electronics. So these are the topics we need to cover today. I'm once again welcome you all for this course. Myself, Current department, and we'll discuss brief topics of units. One is power diodes and transistors, that is in the first unit, and second unit silicon control rectifiers, third unit principle of phase control converters, and fourth unit DC to DC converters and AC to AC converters. Last unit, that is the inverters. So these are the 5 topics in your course. So in this course, all 5 controllers we need to study. Preferably we call it as a phase control rectifiers, choppers, AC voltage controllers, cycloconverters, and in this course you can refer some of the books. Preferably you can refer MD Singh, Power Electronics, Tata McGraw-Hill. Another one is a PS Bimra, Power Electronics, Khanna Publications, and MH Rashid, Power Electronics Circuits, Devices and Applications. So these are the books you can refer for this course. And then syllabus. This total course is dividing as a 5 units. The unit 1, power diodes and transistors. In this, some of the subtopics I highlighted. We need to discuss about diodes, that characteristics of diodes, types of power diodes, applications of diodes. And another device, there is a power BJT, power MOSFET, and IGBTs. In this devices, we need to understand basic structure and working principle of these devices, steady state and switching characteristics, comparison of BJT, MOSFET and IGBT and their applications. So in this unit 2, there is a silicon controlled rectifiers or SCRs are also called as a thyristors. In this unit, we'll discuss thoroughly the SCR characteristics, that is the static characteristics and dynamic characteristics of SCR, and 2 transistor analogy, protection of SCRs, that is snubber circuit and all. And then we can go for series and parallel operation of SCRs. Another topic is a SCR triggering circuits. There is a different triggering circuits we have, that is R triggering, RC triggering, UJT triggering and ramp triggering and all, and commutation methods of SCR. So that is a different commutation techniques we have to come across this unit. And third unit, principle of operation of the third unit is a principle of phase control converters, that is a study of single phase and 3-phase, half wave and full wave control rectifiers with R and RL loads as well as RLE loads, significance of revealing diodes, effect of source inductance, dual converters. So these are all uh, topics need to cover in the third unit. And fourth unit, all the controllers, that is DC to DC converter, that is also called as the choppers. There is a principal operation of chopper, basic chopper, and step down, step up and down configurations. And there is a control strategies of a chopper, that is a time ratio control and current limit control. Types of choppers we can divide as a single quadrant and 2 quadrant and 4 quadrant choppers. These are all also classified as A, B, C, D, E. And another is a regulators, switching regulators, that is a buck converter, boost converter, buck boost converters. These are the chopper configuration, that is a DC to DC converters. Another one is in the same fourth unit. There is a AC to AC converters. It consisting of a cycloconverters and AC voltage controllers. Cycloconverters, it will convert fixed frequency to variable frequency, and whereas AC voltage controller, it will convert fixed AC to the variable AC with constant frequency. And we will discuss with different load conditions, R load and RLE loads, R and RL loads. And now we can see the unit 5. This is a inverters, so we can consider this is a inverter. And there is a principal operation of inverter, bridge inverters, single phase bridge inverters, and voltage control methods, that is the PWM techniques, and comparison of voltage source inverter and current source inverter, and three phase bridge inverters, 180-degree and 120-degree mode of operation. So these are the 5 units need to cover in this course. Now we'll see the next one, introduction. In this introduction, you can observe that all basic information I will present here. So what is the definition of power electronics? How can you define this? This you can define power electronics defined as a control and conversion of a large amount of electric power. So this is the major role of power electronics. Throughout this uh, course, we need to analyze all the controllers, but all controller will do only control and conversion of electric power. It will do only control and conversion. So why we need to control and convert? So this is the scenario. Preferably, we know all the in general before the power electronics, that is a diode rectifiers are there. But diode rectifier, it will convert just fixed AC to the fixed DC, but it will not control. So that's why diode rectifier will not consider as a power electronics controllers. It is uncontrolled rectifiers. We have only 5 power electronics controller, and we just discussed that names: phase control rectifiers, choppers, AC voltage controllers, cyclo converters, and inverters. And come to this point, why control and conversion is required. So in this, we can observe this diagram. There is a input of AC supply 100 volts, let's consider. And now the application we can observe in this, there is LED bulb, and then some modem, and then microcontrollers, and many applications are there. In these application, how this will work? So when AC is available, but our application are all suppose DC component, how we can able to work with this? So now in this small diagram, it will represent one thing is AC, we have to convert it into DC. That means AC to DC converter we need to use. So after that, again we can use as a DC to DC controllers. So when this fixed AC to fixed DC we are getting, after that we can use something like as a diode rectifier, you can use it. And after the diode rectifier, we can use as a some linear regulators, or switching regulators, are also called as choppers. It will convert fixed DC to the variable DC to work with different voltage ratings of the applications. So this is the scenario. One small example I mentioned here, why the control and conversion is required. In this, we can observe that we convert AC to DC, and also we control that DC output voltage for the particular application. So this is one reason I mentioned. Another thing, we can see that regulators. Now, in the olden days, this we can observe this type of regulation regulators we are using for fan regulation. Inside this, there is a resistance box, also called as some steps of resistance are there. And when you change that position, one position to another position, the resistance is going to be cut off. Then voltage will increase, and then speed of the fan will increase. That is what the control strategies of a fan without using power electronics. If we use this, preferably we can observe some drawbacks. One thing is, we can get some steps of speed. Let you can put it as a the regulator position 1, you will get one speed, and you will changes to regulator position 2, you will get another speed, and so on. But you cannot get in between speeds. Let it be position 1 to position 2, between speeds are not possible, because we fixed that rheostat inside, that is a potential divider or whatever, and the thing is you have to cut off that resistance, then you are allowing more voltage, because we are cut off the resistance, the automatically drop will be minimum. We are reducing the drop, then voltage will be more and we will get the high speeds. So but that is one drawback. Another drawback is, we are using the rheostat or resistors to control the speed. That is a major drawback. Power dissipation is going to be takes place. So another one is the smooth speed control is not possible by using this type of a regulator. These are the drawbacks once if we use olden days regulators. Now you can see there is a power electronics regulators, that is AC voltage controller. We can observe this diagram. Any of this diagram here, we can able to control the speed smoothly. And some cases if you want, we can get it as a some step fashion also, depends on that requirement. Here we can able to control the speed smoothly, but we don't use any rheostats inside. We are using as a AC voltage controller, which will convert AC to variable AC, so that we are minimizing the losses. You know, we are not getting any power dissipation in this, and we can control the speed smoothly. So this is the reason we are going for like this. This was only just a given two example. Another example, you can see that the light control. If you have as a switch, if you switch on the light, it will glow completely, and switch off, it will turn off completely. But because the power electronics controller like AC voltage controller, you can able to control the illumination by controlling the firing angle, or control of a AC voltage controller. At moment given this example, but still many examples are there: motor control, AC drives as well as DC drives, like the traction application, induction heating. So for many application we required as a power electronics control. So now you can see that a power electronic system consists of a electrical source, load, and power electronic circuit. So this total, if I call it as a black diagram of power electronics, you can see that source as well as load, in between there is a power electronic circuit. That power electronic circuit consisting of a any of the circuit, any of the controller. Let we have 5 controllers, no, depends upon our requirement, we can able to use any of the controller. So but it will be there in between the source and load. So that is a based on your requirement of the load, this controller will act and we can meet your demands. And then this controller again consisting of a, because total power electronics is a black diagram, I can say that the input, output, and power electronics controller. And that controller inside, any controller, it may be chopper or a cycler converter or AC voltage controller or inverter, anything, it consisting of a switches, energy storage elements, and control function. So we required as a control strategy also for this power electronic circuit. Now, power electronic applications deal with the flow of power. So, all these power electronics applications generally will deal with flow of power. That's nothing but controlling the power. Now, there is a sum of the research areas or applications in this power electronics. You can observe that there is a power system area, as well as the heating and then renewable energy system, and then power converters area, electric drives, so power systems, and like smart grids, all these things, and HVDC transmission, many areas we can able to use. And now, so majority of the applications in power electronics are based on switching the power flow in order to improve efficiency. So we are able to uh, operate that controllers only switching action. So like a turn on the device and turn off the device in regular interval based on our requirement of the output voltage, and consequently one must use power semiconductor devices that act as a power switches. Here power switch is not an ordinary switch, this is a controllable switch. The switch is like any of the device, we will discuss that in the unit 1. I mentioned like BJT, thyristors, and then MOSFET, IGBTs. These are very few switches I mentioned, but still many advanced switches are available. But in our course we'll consider as a BJTs, MOSFET, and then IGBTs and SCRs. So these are the switches we need to consider. In that unit 1, discuss various power semiconductor devices with a emphasis on using the power electronic switches, and few of them mentioned like diode, BJT, MOSFET, IGBT, but diodes is uncontrolled, but rest of the devices are controlled devices. And power MOSFET IGBT has a large role to play in modern power control equipments, and hence the study will be emphasized. So now we can observe power electronics is a vast, complex, and interdisciplinary subject. So because it consisting of electrical as well as electronics also it will deals, and as undergoes through a rapid technical evolution during the last 50 years. In this controllers, in terms of the controllers and terms of the control strategies, or in terms of semiconductor devices, so the research is rapid changes takes place the last 50 years. That's why the nowadays, due to this advanced in technology, the decreased operators cost, because of the research we are reducing the cost of the devices or control components. So that is the reason it will be as a cheaper when compared to all other normal conventional controllers. Extended these applications is expanded in industrial, commercial, aerospace, residential, military, and utility environment. So many applications it will be involved. So mm, many innovations in the field of power semiconductor devices, that is a converter topologies, electrical machine drives, controls, and different applications. Then still there is a lot of improvement in power electronics. There is a uh, AI technologies such as fuzzy logic and artificial neural network for these applications also can be. So in this power electronics, I told you, it consisting of some switches as well as the energy storage elements and inductor, capacitor. All these components will be there inside. Just I mentioned few of them. By it may be a transistor or a MOSFET or a BJT. This is a diode, and then capacitors and inductor, energy storage elements, and then resistors. So many energy storage elements and switches all together will form a control. So now we'll see that power semiconductor devices. In 1957, SER was introduced, and later other power semiconductor devices has been developed with the advancement in the semiconductor technologies. So this is the SER symbol, it consisting of a three terminal, that is anode, cathode, and gate. If you observe this symbol when you are doing as a laboratory and all, we can observe how to connect the devices to the load side. This one you can observe the first terminal is a cathode, and then second one is anode, and third one is a gate. This is the just I mentioned as a one component, real component. You can observe it in our laboratory also. And this is the symbol wherever you want to represent as a thyristor, then we can easily show this. I mean, you can represent in our circuit. So wherever thyristor want to write, just you represent like this. And then power diodes are available up to the ratings of 3000 volts and 3500 amperes up to 1 kilohertz it is going to be operate, whereas SCRs further it is more rating when comparatively diodes. SCR can operate up to 6 kV and then 3500 amperes and then 1 kilohertz of frequency. And I mentioned here some of the diodes symbols as well as the real diodes also. This is the symbol of the diode, anode and cathode. So we can observe the diode, this side we can represent as a cathode, this is a anode with the different diode numbers, because different numbers will be there in the different ratings, all these things. This is the some diagrams I represented for the diode. Another one is a BJT. BJTs are available in the market up to ratings of 1200 volts and 400 amperes and up to 10 kilohertz of frequency. We can observe the ratings when compared with the thyristor and all. So thyristor is very high rating device, but BJT so very small rating when compared to the thyristor. Current ratings and all small. So whereas in case of thyristor, you can observe it is more than 3000 amperes, that is 3500 kiloamperes and all. But in this case, we can observe this only 400 amperes. But frequency that I mentioned is a 1 kilohertz frequency, but this is a 100 kilohertz frequency you can able to operate. And this is the symbol for BJT. It consisting of a collector, emitter and then base. And the diagram also you can observe that the first lead you can represent emitter and middle is a base and this side is a collector. And then there is a two types of BJTs, NPN transistor and PNP transistor. That diagrammatically you can observe that how the connection will be. This one is emitter and that is a NPN transistor. This is the emitter here, or you can say that in the reverse direction, that you can say that is a PNP transistor. So this is the different types of and then components also based on the company and based on the number of the code, you can represent some low rating transistors will be like this. Based on this knob we can decide which side is collector. This lead is a collector, this one is a base and this one is a emitter. Similarly for this device, so like that I mentioned there is a different configurations on the devices, NPN transistor and NPN transistor. And still some more devices are there. The power MOSFET, a relatively low range of approximately 1000 volts and only 50 amperes of current, and it will operate very high frequency when comparatively transistor. Transistor is a 10 kilohertz, whereas SCR is 1 kilohertz, diode also 1 kilohertz, but in MOSFET we can able to achieve up to 100 kilohertz of frequency applications. So here the components are drain, source and gate. This is the symbol of MOSFET. I mean real component, this one you can see this terminal is a gate and then there is a drain and this one is a source. And still there is a different types of MOSFETs. We have N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFET, that is a a depletion layer and enhancement type of MOSFETs we have. This we can observe in detail in the first unit. What we are construction of MOSFET, P-type MOSFET or N-type MOSFET or enhancement type or depletion layer type. So these are the different types of MOSFET we can come across. So another one is IGBTs. So are available up to the power ratings of 1200 volts and 400 amperes and 20 kilohertz. So when you compare the MOSFET is 100 kilohertz, but this IGBT is 20 kilohertz. So how the IGBT will form? It is the latest component when compared to MOSFET and BJT. What we do is this is simply combination of these two devices, that is advantages from MOSFET and then BJT we club it together. You can see that the MOSFET and then BJT, by adding these two components advantages, then it will become as a IGBT. So IGBT will be formed by adding the advanced or advantages of MOSFET and BJT, and then you can remove the drawbacks of these two devices and it will become a hybrid device, that is IGBT. So this diagram also shows that this portion is a MOSFET and this portion is a BJT. So by clubbed together, that is input side will be MOSFET and output side will be as a BJT, and finally will form as a IGBT. So then these are the some real component I captured here. The terminals will be cathode and then gate, collector and emitter. So these are the some books they represented drain, source, gate also, that depends, but here in the output side we are using as a transistor, that's why collector and emitter, and input side is a gate, so we'll mention as a gate side is input, so gate we will use. So these are the some of the devices, and then we'll see that power electronics controllers briefly. I mentioned there is a only 5 controllers other than this uncontrolled rectifiers. If we consider this, we'll consider totally 6 controllers, but as we are aware of this, uncontrolled rectifier is a diode rectifier, that is will not control the output voltage, that's why it is uncontrolled rectifier, so that is not come under power electronics. So now another is a AC to DC converters. This is one of the unit we'll cover. It will convert fixed AC to the variable DC, and lot more applications are there. So majorly we'll cover this is much in case of 3-phase as well as single phase, both AC to DC converters. And now there is a DC to DC converters is also called as a choppers. So this also will cover one of the unit, and then AC to AC, it is come under AC voltage controller, that will convert fixed AC to the variable AC with constant frequency. That is very important. In AC voltage controller, frequency will not change. So then another one is a cycloconverter. It will convert fixed AC to the variable AC with variable frequency, or preferably we call it as a fixed frequency to the variable frequency. That also consisting of different classifications. We'll see that also. And then last one, there is a inverters. It will convert fixed DC to the variable AC and variable frequency, constant frequency as well as the variable frequency. So these are the main controllers we need to study. If you come across all the 5 controllers, you can see this, these are the 5 controllers we need to cover. So once it's covered, so your syllabus will complete. And that is it, all 5 in what we call as 5 controllers we need to come across. Then you can observe there is a one by one, just brief introduction I given, diode, rectifiers and all. A diode rectifier circuit converts AC input voltage to as a variable DC voltage. So I mean fixed DC, not a variable DC. Here is a diode rectifier. It will convert fixed AC input voltage to fixed DC voltage. So that's the reason we call it as an uncontrolled rectifier, because it is not controlling the output side. And then the input voltage may be single phase or a three phase. We have single phase diode rectifiers as well as the three phase diode rectifiers. And then diode rectifiers find wide use in applications. You can see that battery charging, power supplies, welding, and UPS systems. All these things we required as a bridge rectifiers or a diode rectifiers. It may be half wave or full wave, depends upon the rating of the application we'll select. Another one, we can see that phase controlled rectifiers. In phase controlled rectifier, these converters will convert fixed AC to the variable DC output voltage. So these rectifiers use line voltage for their commutation. Here we need to remember one thing, is a one new word as a commutation. What is meaning of a commutation? The process of turn off the device, we call it as a commutation. So in detail we will come across later in it. This is only the basic introduction class only. From next class onwards we'll start actual syllabus. At moment we can say that commutation is defined as the process of turn off the device. So in this, input is AC supply, that's why supply will be naturally goes 0 in every instant of pi and 2 pi, 3 pi and so on. That's why it will call it as a line commutated converters. The another name for phase control rectifier is a line commutated converters. That's the reason I mentioned here. So the line voltage for their commutations, that's why we call it as a line commutated converter, or also called as a natural commutation. So both is same, because naturally device is going to be turned off, that's why we call it as a natural commutation. And then these are also called as a line commutated or a natural commutation, commutated, just now I mentioned. It is may be fed from a single phase or a three phase. It is mainly used in a DC drives. So metallurgical and chemical industries also will use this. And then an excitation system for synchronous machine, because in a synchronous DC excitation is required. So in that we can able to change the what we call it as voltage in DC voltage. For that we'll use as a that phase control rectifiers. Another one is a chopper. So what is the function of chopper? It will convert fixed DC to the variable DC. So input will be DC supply, output also will be DC supply, fixed DC to the variable DC. And then chopper circuit requires forced commutation to turn off the thyristor. So already mentioned commutation, to turn off the device we required as a commutation. What, either it is a natural commutation or a forced commutation. Whereas in case of previous one, that is a phase control rectifier, input supply is AC supply, that's why naturally supply goes to 0 in every pi. So but whereas in chopper input is a DC supply, it never goes as a natural 0. So that is the reason we can observe this. It we required as a forced commutation. What is meaning of forced commutation? So by make use of commutating elements L and C, we need to turn off the device forcibly. So that is the reason we call it as a choppers or force commutated circuit is required. So whether you can use different types of commutation, but preferably at moment we call it as a forced commutation. Later we'll see that what are the commutated circuits. For low power circuit, thyristors are replaced by power transistor, because in general choppers will use transistors, MOSFETs like that, but for low rating you can use that. As we observed in previously, high rating device is a SCR. So whenever we require high rating application, then only we can use as a thyristors, otherwise you can replace it. Then classifications of chopper circuit is dependent upon the type of commutation and the direction of the power flow. So there is a different types. If we can say that step up chopper or step down chopper, up and down chopper, and then based on the quadrant operation, it is the first quadrant, second quadrant, first and fourth, and first and second, like that, all four quadrant operated chopper. Like that, we have many different types of choppers. There is application, as we know that when our output is controllable DC, so DC drives is preferably used, and then electronic, that is electrical cars and trolley trucks, battery driven vehicles. For all these applications, we use as a and then AC voltage controllers. So what is the function of AC voltage controller? It will convert fixed AC to the variable AC with constant frequency. So that is the main important thing. Frequency will not change. You will get as a constant frequency. And this circuit consisting of a thyristors in anti-parallel, or you replace all thyristor by as a triac, only one device you can use it. Either use anti-parallel thyristors or a triac, both the same, but thing is, whenever you are operating load is a high rating application, we can use as a anti-parallel thyristors. For low rating application, you can use as a triac, and are widely used for light control, fan control, and very fractional load of motors. For these applications, we use as a AC voltage controller. And then we see the cycloconverters. This cycloconverter I already mentioned, it will convert fixed AC to variable AC with variable frequency, or another way we can say that fixed frequency to the variable frequency. So that is the function of cycloconverter. And line commutation is more commonly used here. Input is AC, but for the step up cycloconverter, we record as a forced commutation that we'll see in that particular unit. And whereas we'll used in the slow speed large AC drives like rotary pills and all for a high rating applications, and slow speed applications will use this type of a cycloconverter. And last one is the inverters. What it will do, it will convert fixed DC to the variable AC with constant and variable frequency. Both is possible in this. Another one is use line or forced commutation. If it is alpha less than 90, it is a rectifier mode of operation. Greater than 90, it is a inversion mode of operation. For that type of application and HVDC and all, will use as a line commutation. Then normal bridge rectifiers and all will use as a forced commutation technique. Another one is a, it will use in induction motor and synchronous motor drives, UPS and HVDC transmission. For this type of applications, we can use as a inverters. And then SCRs are replaced by gate turn-off devices in for high power applications. Still, the turn-off process is complicated if you use as SCR. That's why preferably they will use as a GTOs. Latest device is there, GTOs, and many devices are there. But preferably thyristor won't use for the inverter applications. And we'll see some of the advantages of power electronics, as well as disadvantage also we'll see there. First one is high efficiency, as there are less losses in a device. We can observe except switching losses, there is no rotating parts, only the device. Based on your device, we are able to operate whether it is a turn on and turn off instant, that we call it as a switching losses only. Switching losses are very less, that's why efficiency will be high. Another one is reliability. These devices will not get any damage. Preferably it will operate continuously, more lifetime is there. So that's the reason we call it as a reliability will be more. Another one is a long life with less maintenance due to the absence of any moving parts. So there is no moving parts in that controllers, so that is long lifetime will get it. And fast dynamic response, this is also an advantage. And low cost, because all semi control devices will manufactured in a bulk, that's why we'll get as a low cost. It is very cheaper when compared to flexibility in operation. So these are all main advantages of a electronics. Now we'll see some disadvantages. These circuits generate harmonics in a supply as well as the load circuit. So this is the major advantage in a power electronics. Any controller, whatever controller you want to use in a application, when if you use semiconductor devices, it will inject the harmonics whether in the source side as well as the load side. Therefore, there is a performance is going to be reduced because of the harmonic. And certain converters like AC to DC or AC to AC and certain operating conditions, the power factor, input power factor will be low. So that is also another drawback. Regeneration of a power is difficult in power electronics converter system. Regenerative action is not possible here. Only you have to make the two controllers in anti-parallel, then only possible somehow. But it is all difficult process. So these are the of the disadvantages, and we'll see some applications of power electronics. There is a different application, renewable energy, as well as the industrial applications, and then utility systems, then electrical drives. It may be AC drive or a DC drive, both is possible. And then there is a power supplies, the regulated power supplies, RPS and all. So power systems, HVDC and PAX controllers. So in many applications we are using as a power electronics. So now we can observe all this is an introduction portion. So when you just briefly understand this, then we'll start the actual power electronics subject unit wise. But at moment I explain only the brief introduction of the power electronics. So thank you one and all.